How you doing, Ralfy? Ralfy Customs. We're on with our Andes VN800 rigid conversion. Let's have a look. So, we've got it all mocked up, look, well, jigged up. What I've done, I've worked out where his wheel spindle has to come to give him his standard ground clearance. I've had it together all on its wheels and measured up and worked out. And in order to get into everything that I need to get into, I've elected to lift the old job 2 inches off the bench, look, on them blocks. Just get his phone call. Right, there we go, sorry about that. So, we've got it jacked up 2 inches. And we've lifted this up 2 inches accordingly. So, the bottom of the frame is invisibly 2 inches above this when we make it. And I've just, while we're on the phone, got it tacked down to these bits of box. So, nothing's going to go anywhere when we cut all the back of it off, which is going to be next. We are going to try and keep the standard line best we can, yeah, because that's what he likes and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to use old school, no pillbox wheel adjusters, and we're going to use old school rigid fish plates, I call them. Now these are going to be a cunt for me to cut out this 12mm plate. The gas axe is probably the best kit I've got to do it, because my little plasma struggles, bless it. I'm going to have a go with the plasma, see how it goes. I probably won't film it because you'll see me swearing and cussing a lot and shaking my fist at the plasma cutter. But we've made friends again, so I've fucked about with it and worked out how to use it a bit better. We'll see. It could be really slow going, so like I say, I won't film it, but we're going to cut 2 blanks out that we will then slot, which will be an interesting little job. We've got this all set on the jig where it needs to be, and we've got the front end of the frame which we're keeping, because everything from here, this another interesting feature is we're keeping this bolt on side, that's staying, because you can't get the engine out otherwise. It's just not happening apparently. That's on the brief, so I'm happy to duplicate this somehow in the rigid frame. We're going to have a centre post here and one across like normal, and then we'll have some strange fitting that takes this off the box section piece that goes across, or however I will work it. That'll be absolutely fucking nice, that will. I'm looking forward to that. And this side we've got this big fat inclusion, look, we've got this, that's got to come off here, so we've just got the one holding it there. Again, I don't think it'll go anywhere. So next up is cut those axle plates, get them cleaned up, which will mostly be done off camera. I'm going to try with the plasma and may well end up finishing off with the gas axe, we'll see. So we're going to give it a 50-50 on the plasma. We've got the job cut out, and this one is not that shabby. The second one, however, looks like it's been chewed out by a scabby horse, bless it. So, I don't know. I think this is beyond its capabilities, the old 12mm, to be fair. But it's a good start, and it's as clean as I would have got with a gas axe, to be fair. What I'll do, I'll get the slag knocked off, I'll get them tacked together and get them cleaned up. Probably off camera, because it's just grinding and sanding shit, isn't it? Okay, so by the magic of television, and what's that, Ralfy? Fucking hot. We have got a 1 inch thick, 2 bits of 1/2 inch, well 12mm actually, so I'm waffling shit as usual. We've got a 24mm thick billet that I'm just going to check roughly for the angle of the dangle to make sure that everything's not a mile off before I look at putting the slot in, ain't it? So if we decide the job's a goer, which I think we will, bastard, that is hot, then we drop that on there, punch through, and we've got our roll centres for our 17mm in this case. 17mm slot. Happy days. Okie fucking dokie. So, because it is such an awkward shape, there's no way we're going to hold it in the jolly old vice and keep that slot straight and keep it where we need it. So I've gone for the old clamperina ruinous. We've had a clamp down. We've got a spacer under so we can run through, clear the bed, and we've done our very best to make sure that these toe clamps are out of the way of the tool holder. It's going to be interrupting the job. And as always, I'm going to go through with a rotor broach with a mag drill bit. They're fucking lovely, these are. If it would focus. There you go. 16mm by 25. So we'll rough it out with this job it. And then we've got a 5/8 end mill, which we can use to clean up the hole, clean up the slot and take it out to just past 17mm, the spindle is. So quite a straightforward slot, all being well. Right, so we've got a little pointer tool in, which is going to be absolutely good enough to get these centres in line. We've just eyeballed it onto that one, and we'll lock Y-feed. So we've got the centre of the slot now, and then what we need to do is waz it along this way until we get to the other one, and see how far off we were when we eyeballed it up. You know what? We're not much off. Just a tiny hair, a hair off. So we'll tap that over. We'll get that on there. And with this locked off, we'll nip these up. It's cold in there. We'll nip it down. I always watch other people do this and think how they don't tighten it up very much, but it's not a brute force thing, is it? You don't want to be cracking your fucking... Imagine. I've seen them broke out. You wouldn't break this out, you'd have to be a donkey, wouldn't you? But there are donkeys out there. So yeah, that, if I'm nice and steady, that shouldn't move now. And we can zero the old digital readout like so on this first, the back hole, and then all we need to know is that we're going to go that way 40mm. So the job's a good one. Okay, that's that tooled up look. I've set my stop, so come down to my stop. I'm clearing the job. I'm not fouling on there. I'm not hitting the deck. Everyone's a fucking winner. So we can zero a DRO, wind that back to 0. That'll put us over the first hole, and then we'll go in increments. I normally do 3. I'll go 0, 40, and then 0, 20, 40, and then that will leave me 3 holes, and we'll join them up. We'll rough it out a bit with this. I always say rotor broach fucking bit. What are they actually called? Rotor broach bits. Yeah, arbor. We'll cut it out with that. So we'll chew that out, and then look at slotting it proper.
Don't forget, folks, our Fuckstock stickers are now available in our Etsy store, link in the description below. Fuckstock, you know it makes sense.
Right, folks, so we've got that. Got that on centre, and I'm going to chain drill it. If you saw me make the kickstand the other week, you'll know what I'm on about. I'm going to cut a series of holes that join up with each other as a way of roughing out the slot. So what I find with these is you get halfway through, and the plug, you can see the end of it there, look, I think, yeah, the plug that you're cutting out releases and spins in the end of the bit. So I don't expect it will get... There we go, that is now rock hot nut, it's not doing anything. So we've got to lift it out. We've got to free that plug. Get these curly whirlies out of the way. Free the plug, like so. And then I think we'll be good to carry on. through the axle there, like so. Right, now we can undo this and move it along 10, which is coming up about there. Lock it off again, and now we can do an interrupted cut, which these are quite happy to do as a rule, like so. Nice and steady. They don't mind a plunge, obviously, these bits, because that's what they're made for. They don't like side pressure though. You can't use them like an end mill. Like you can sometimes, if you've got an hand drill and you're cutting it way up, you're cutting something out, you can give it a wibbly wobbly, can't you? Where did that fucking bit shoot off to? You can give it a bit of left and right action to enlarge the hole a bit. You can't do that with these. They really don't fucking like it. So they're good for this though. Good for chain drilling, which is just what we're on with. Now we're at 40mm, which is where the end of the slot is. And what a nice slot it is too. Plenty of lube along the way. Once we get this through, I'm going to move you around because I need to use both hands on the job a bit more. We're going to swap it out to the end mill to clean that slot up. Although I'm tempted to go back 5, look. Just take them bits out, look at that. Happy days. I'll do that, I'll move along to the halfway marks and just trim the peaks off before I change out to the slot drill, but you don't need to see that. Okay, so with the end mill in place, we've remained central, and we're just going to take it through. I can't see, look, you're in the way. We're just going to take it through so we're clear of the slot, and then we'll lock off the quill. And that's a 5/8 bit, which is 15.84 ish, and we want 17 or maybe slightly under. So I'm going to move half a mil. We want half a mil off each side, 20 thou off each side. So we'll shift the table this way and go along 20 thou, and then we'll shift it this way from centre 20 thou and go along, and then we'll have a measure, see how we go. Just nearly had a fucking doofus moment. I was just sanding the tacks down to separate these, to carry on cleaning them off, and I realised I've not done the fucking city bar mount off. So here we are, look. Get that centred up. Just a bit of a pilot. Nice and steady. To the mighty meddings for, I'm going to have to move this, I'm going to have to bring this into play. Alright, so I'll kind of get that centred up, and this is going to be right in your fucking way, so let's use it as a fucking side stop instead, look, like that. Yeah, so we'll nip it off there, bit of a side stop, and away she goes, Captain. I'll get this drilled through. Probably tap it. Yeah, I'll get it drilled and tapped, and then we can separate them and get them cleaned up now, sorted. Right, so they're separated, drilled out. We're just going to run a tap in this machine tap with a Hank Stuffers, very pink and sticky stuff. not sponsored. So yeah, we'll just tap these through, ready for should Andy want to mount something there, like a sissy bar, or if he ends up with mudguard stays or similar. So that's one little detail done. We may well have to weld a little bracket on the back for the wheel adjusters as per the standard. I don't have those, but I can see this bracket's on the frame existing, like on the swing arm already, so that could be done a little further down the line. So let's just get this shit out of the way. And then they're ready to bolt into the jig once we get the swing arm out of the way. So yeah, there you go. Nice little side plate, axle adjuster fish plate. Happy days. Right, so here's what we've come up with. Nicely warm. These can go underneath, look. Underneath there, and if this will focus, which it probably won't, you'd be able to see that it jams underneath the engine, between the engine fins, quite nicely. So that'll stop it dropping down. We made some little stands to stop it dropping down. We'll get them tacked on the bench. Okay. And feel a bit more secure about chopping the bottom off it, like. And just again try and show you quick the last bit on the jigging up with these bits of angle iron that go against the side of the sump to stop it moving left and right. So we've got, can't see them on that side, the fucking ramp, the rampity-pampity underneath, and then there's a piece of angle iron there you can't see. Put a torch on. Piece of angle iron there that stops it moving left and right. So rampity-pampity under the sump, left and right, both sides. That should do it. It's not going to go back. So yeah, so that is all the jig work done as far as we need to. We can start cutting the fucker up now, can't we? Happy days. Right, so with this swing arm discombobulated and the lower mount out, nothing moved. And we're ready for a chop. Now, I reckon this is going to be the most difficult because the engine's in the way and I don't want to be taking it off the bench to get through here, so we'll come up with something creative. But basically, I hate that filler word, we're going to chop it here, we're going to chop it there, we're probably going to chop it in the middle there, and then somewhere here and here. The idea is to preserve the seat rails in this cross piece with the front, with the rear engine mount on, until we get the bottom piece in with the bottom engine mount on, and then we'll knob all that off and replace it with new. So I'm just going to get the get a cutting disc and cut through these three bits, and then look at unbolting this side. I'll do that off camera. You don't need to see me stood there with the grinder grinding. I always wonder whether to include those bits, set up a tripod and fast forward through me doing it, but you don't need to see every moment of everything, do you? It's not like it's a fucking Truman Show. I could gas axe it. I could get the gas axe out and cut through here. I could probably do it with a plasma, although we did struggle a bit with the axle plates previously, although they turned out quite nice. Turned out nice, didn't they? So yeah, I'll get them bits chopped off, and then we'll look at setting the axle plates up in the third hole up and going from there. There she blows, Captain. That's it with all the shit stripped off the bottom of it. And off camera we've taken some steps to start mocking it up. What we're going to have is a cleaner join there with an insert with a dowel in it, and that'll run, just continue that tube through to just past here with a cap, or we'll see how we're going back from there. You'll see that. Anyway, we're going to run a tube along here to this box section, no problem. The other side's got to be trick because of the bolt-on action. So we're going to duplicate, we're going to make one of these that goes inside, that is a slug, that goes inside a regular bit of tube that's going to carry on through here, like so. It will have a couple of threaded holes and a flat like that. Say a couple of threaded holes. One of the captive nuts came off the back when I was undoing it. It wasn't welded on anymore. So we'll do a mating surface for this, and then that'll carry on in tube to go through there, and that'll give us that base. Then we'll probably, there was a tube here on the standard one to catch these. We might well stick a bit of tube in there and run some brackets up, some little eyelet brackets like it has, just because again we want to make sure we can get the engine out, like, so we're going to copy that probably, same sort of thing. Methinks that's what we'll do. But for the meantime, we're going to make the slug for the joint on the left hand side, and this fucking adapter bolt on combobulation bit for this side. Righto, so we've got a nice bit of 32mm chucked up, and we're going to take it straight down. This is the bit that's going to go inside the tube. This needs to go down to 27.5 for 50mm, so coming up on the chuck a bit like with that. I wasn't sure about machining this down to depth before we cut one side flat. You'll see what I mean. When it's going to mate onto the other bit, we need to mill it in half basically, so we've got a flat surface to mount on. I wasn't sure about doing this end before I did that. If you follow, you'll have seen me make the side stand that I recently made. That had a taper and then a slot, and I did the taper first, and I wasn't sure if that was with hindsight, like whether that was the best way that I could have gone, but I think we'll be right. I'm just going to turn this step down, and then we're going to drill it out a little bit so it's not such a solid mass. So let me just put a chamfer on here, if I can get in, which I can't. Oh, just touch that edge, and then a good chamfer on there, like so. Just going to take the arse end out of this so that, like I say, we're not welding a solid grit chunk. I'm going to go 50mm deep or thereabouts with a 20mm drill bit, so we'll just go away there with a sensor drill, come at it with a pilot drill down to 50mm. We're not worried about it being super accurate and compensating for the taper on the end of the drill too much. It's just a bit of a relief. And now we're in with the big boy with a 20mm. Slow things down a little bit, and we'll send that, no worries. Right, with that done, we've got a chamfer on there, and then that is that bit. Just getting a cloth, because you bet your life that's red hot. It's a fair fetch me a cloth for Rambo. So, 3. Now we can head on over to the milling machine. What I do want to do is, fucking hell, it is hot, is maybe curve that end, maybe not. I'm going to put a good chamfer on that end, and I'm also going to mark a line here so I know where to take my slot up to. I think, we'll see. A quick lathe hack. I know that I need to take half of this away pretty much, so I've used the tool, I've stopped it, left it, and I know the tool's bang on centre, so I've used that to mark a line. I'll go across the end without turning this light, obviously. I'll go across the end with something as well, and that'll help me know end. That's me marked out, ready for the next bit, like straight away in the lathe like that. Right, now here's the setup. We've got a little V-block holding it in there, and we've got the plain one that joins the tube to tube without the bolt action. There's a packer there, because I never like clamping on one side of the vise. It can cock over and let go. I don't think it would with that. I think there's enough there, like. And to square it up, we just put a rule against the 321 block and the V block we've got there and eyeball it. It's well good enough for this job. When we come to machine it, I will fit a little machinist jack on a parallel under there, probably. I probably will, although I'm not going to take any really heavy duty cuts, so it might be all right without it, you know. Might be all right without it, we'll see. Well, I know, so I've rather clumsily touched on that face and marked it. It don't really matter, it's all going away. But there you go. And I've gone down 56, which is where I need to be. Ignore the mark I made earlier. I double checked and it weren't quite right. And I've lifted up, I've touched up on here and I've lifted up 100 thou, 2.5 mil. Bear in mind we need 16 millimeters taking off it, so I reckon a brand new 18mm high-speed steel roughing bit, such as that, should make short work of this at 100 thou at a time. So give it a squirt. We'll work our way around this. I did go with a little jack. Why not? We'll work our way around this like so. And off to the side. Up another 100 thou, which is there. So that's 200. Make a mark. Down to 56, which is there. Come on. There. Lock off. Feed across and carry on. You can join me when we're near the end. Last one, last 40 thou. So we'll take this nice and steady away. We could have sped it up, to be fair, but this will do us nicely. Use the gloves, Captain. And I'll work my way around the outside of this to push the bearing to the centre, very a la Joe Pye. Bless him. So, here's the bearing there, look. There she goes. And down to the last one. There we are. So, that is that bit. Yeah, milled off, look. It's showing just shy of the line, but I might drop another 10 and give it a quick clean up. I don't really need it, to be fair. It's going to bolt on to that surface, so let me just see where I'm at. I'm still at full width, yeah, and I am whatever that's going to be, which I'm going to struggle to measure with you in the way. So let me just double check. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll have a quick have it out. Let me just give myself a quick clean up. Hold on. So we don't get shit everywhere. Because we have got shit everywhere. Quick blower. And now we'll have that out. I'm going to offer it up, look, so that's going to fit on the bike like that, with the tube coming off. I'll show you. Right, so that goes in that tube, and then that goes in that gap, like so. Yeah, it's not too tight up that end. I put a bit of a bevel on that end, so it goes up as far as it goes. And that is going to sit just like that. I'll try and get a centre on that end. I could clamp it, couldn't I? I could clamp it like that and then put transfer punch through, because everything's quite sturdy. I'll do that off camera. Find one centre, then I'll measure the distance and mark the other centre, and then we can just go over to the pillar drills, I think, just to drill and tap that M8. Right, so with those marked, I am going to just go with a pillar drill, drill my 8.7. What we need to note is that we're going to use the special fasteners that it came with, which are those, focus, which are M10, not M8. I don't know why I said M8, but they're also fine, mighty fine. The M10 by 1.25, which is a fine pitch. Here's the welded one that wasn't. Look, that fell off the back of the frame as I'm stripping it down. So anyway, we'll get those centre dotted, clamped in a vise, centre dotted on there, centre drilled, and then over to the mighty Meddins for a drill through and a tap out. Well, we tap it out in that vise, not that fucking vise. I'm waffling on, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's that little jobber. I'll bolt that on there. and then we've got somewhere to join the tube on this side, and that side that should unbolt, which means it will facilitate removal of the engine. And this one there's just got a straight slug in that will leave a bit of a gap and weld it up. What I'm now thinking is to run these through and up in one each side. What I often do is cap this off here, finish that there, and then put a loop, make a loop. But it's going to be a tight loop if I do that. And looking down the outside of these, I put a straight edge down and round and see where it comes, because we've got quite a bit to play with. Look, get this out of the way. This can go anywhere here, look, on there, and you've got room either way, and you've got room either way. I would prefer it on the outside, not on the inside, because of the chain on this one. And we can cut a slot in here to drop it over that if needs be. There's loads, really flexible. So I'm thinking, if I can, what I should like to do is have two pieces with a bend down there to about 13 from here or so, which is where the wheel's going to come to. So 14, which is probably about here. I've not measured, I've just dropped that in place to give me a level. So bend from there up to that plate, and then straight and into the existing would be fucking peachy. Then we can put one across here, straight across in front of this, because that's staying like, and that'll get those bottom mounts off. We can put something off those bottom mounts for that one. Run those back to the back, like I say, and then we can chop the top out. Look at putting a centre post or something similar. Well, not something similar, a centre post in. Yeah, running through there like that. And then either extending this top tube or putting one across and having it off there. Not quite sure yet quite how we're going to do that. So there we go. We've trimmed up off some cuts. This one's 5 inches shorter than the other side because of this action that's going on, and we've marked 13 from the end. That we want 13 from here really, but they're over length, so they're hanging out a bit. And I think when that's all moved up and bent, we should get it. If anything, we're very slightly on the outside. Yeah, we're kind of, the inside of this is level with the inside of that, which is all right. Like I said, it's preferable on this side, although I've had a straight edge down this front sprocket. There's a fucking mile of room. What I'll probably do is put the slight bend in and then roll them in slightly. So I've worked out that I need those two bends starting 13 inches from the end, and it's about 15 degrees is all, because it's not over low at 7.5 inches standard ride height. The front is remaining unmolested, so that's where we're going to end up. Which is where I think I'm going to call it quits on this video. Yeah, so we made a start, we made the axle plates, we've cut all the shit off the bottom half of the frame after making it all up square. We've worked out what we're going to do, and we've made a couple of adapters ready to rock and roll. So if you like what you see, join me in the next one and you'll see the tubes going in. Please give me a thumbs up. Check out all the bump in the description below, and thanks as always for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Big love everyone, and I'll see you soon.